Sabri merona merabona meraboy sai. Bori chatu adonam Eloheinu melech haolam. Boirei pri hagofen.
Schindler's List opens with Spielberg and his new director of photography and artistic soulmate, his most important collaborator, Janusz Kaminski, taking us visually back into the past. Going from color to black and white, introducing the Kaddish on the soundtrack, the Orthodox trappings, a candle burning steadfastly with portent.
Zecher ליציאת מצרים, כי בנו בחרתו ויסון הקדשתו מכל עמים, ושבת קודשך ובאהבה ורוצן הנחלתנו, ברוך אתה אדונם, מקדש השבת.
The Color Purple was in its way quite the departure for Steven Spielberg the entertainer, but grammatically he continued to find himself, using his usual camera moves to locate new pieces of the human experience.
This was different.
There's sort of an unspoken calculus here in America that there are clues about the relative seriousness of a project that can be divined by things like black and white photography and a primarily color photography media landscape, subtitles, suffering, historical import.
Schindler had nearly all of them.
Spielberg took to shooting great swaths of Schindler's List in handheld, lots of close-ups and montage in scene to give you immediacy, tons of layers and levels of crisscrossing action that's meant to look random, but of course is all quite carefully choreographed.
The creation of moments of a kind of psychological realism versus his usual presentationalism, reality versus the fiction of a film. No film can ever be accurate. People associate a handheld camera with reality because it's used in documentary and newsreel. It's evidence that something is not going the way that it should be.
It's manipulative in its way as Spielberg's more considered movement, but there is little denying the effective deployment of the technique.
It's obvious why he and Kaminski have worked together ever since. They just got each other, and remain, perhaps to this project's ultimate detriment, unafraid of beauty in the face of horror.
In trying to make a film more true to reality, he made his most beautiful-looking movie.
We don't see Spielberg's regular dolly shots until 5 minutes into the movie to introduce the overly orderly world of Oskar Schindler, who is inventing it, as the Jewish characters whose lives and agency are being taken from them lose the world that they once knew.
When he's in their shots, it is handheld because he's disrupting their lives even more. He's still living in his fantasy, but it's brushing up against their dreadful reality.
Ab sofort ist es allen Juden untersagt, Fleisch auf koscher Art zuzubereiten. Meldung an alle Juden. Ab sofort.
Look at what happens when he's introduced to the man who will become the angel on his shoulder. No zooming, no dollying, no handheld. Stern is just there, unable to move, chosen for a covenant that will help him survive the Holocaust.
I'm looking for Itzhak Stern. Are you Itzhak Stern or not?
I am.
Where can we talk? There's a company you did the books for on Lipovitz Street. Made what? Pots and pans?
By law, I have to tell you, sir, I'm a Jew.
Well, I'm a German, so there we are. A good company, you think?
Modestly successful.
I know nothing about enamelware. Do you?
I was just the accountant.
Simple engineering, though, wouldn't you think? Change the machines around. Whatever you do, you can make other things, couldn't you? Field kit. Mess kits. Army contracts.
When characters enter Schindler's world for brief moments, the camera moves to allow them entryway, as if that fixed grammar were Schindler's own confidence.
You asked for shoe polish.
In metal containers. This is glass. It's not what I asked for.
What's the difference?
What's the difference?
What's the difference?
My client sold it to his client who sold it to the German army. Only by the time it got there, because of the freezing cold, it broke. All 10,000 units.
This is not my problem.
This is not his problem. This is not your problem.
This is not my problem.
All right. The German army wants to find out where it came from. I'm going to make sure they find out.
Now it's your problem.
You be quiet. Metal containers.
Hello. Pardon me for interfering, but that's a nice shirt. Nice shirt. Do you know where I can find a nice shirt like that?
The gambit works for a long time. The trouble is that the movie will get unspeakably horrific just as we've settled into its rhythm.
The curious thing about Schindler's List is that for a goodly sum of its runtime, Spielberg has decided he's making a criminal underworld picture a la Fritz Lang.
To do this, he's finally figured out how to tell jokes with his camera.
Ironically, is that the word I want? Spielberg uses the camera and the edit to tell jokes with perhaps the most confidence he's yet employed.
How is your typing?
All right.
Please.
You need a secretary, pick one.
I don't know how. They're all so qualified.
You have to choose.
Big smile, big smile.
Con artistry, survival, lies, and thievery. This is the stuff of cinema.
I'm a graduate of the University of Lvov. I used to work at the hydroelectric station in Rosnov.
Blauschein.
I want to get the necessary papers because this card is no good anymore. You can stay in this line all day, you'll still get one of these. They're no good. You'll have to leave the line now, then you'll get a blue card, a Blauschein, to say that you are an essential worker. I'll get these papers for you at Pankevich Pharmacy. It's just there, look.
Yes, who is here?
Enjoying the weather, Pollock?
Enjoying the lines?
Need some shoe polish?
The metal container, maybe.
Not essential. I think you misunderstand the meaning of the word.
No Blauschein, sir. Stand over there. Move. Next.
Not essential. I teach history and literature. Since when it's not essential?
He's a metal polisher.
This is not right. It's very good. He's 53 years old. It's too new. Thank you.
Crazy, you left it in your drawer. How many times have I told you? Your work certificate you keep in your pocket at all times. And you leave your in your drawer. How many times have I told you?
I'm a metal polisher.
Take the round sheet of
When Schindler and Stern begin hatching ways to save more Jewish people from the death and torment, when Schindler finds his soul, the film starts to look more and more like Citizen Kane, if in reverse.
The monochrome and low angles and the use of space are all right out of Orson Welles' playbook.
Jewish skilled laborers is 7 marks a day, 5 for unskilled and women. This is what you pay the Reich Economic Office. The Jews themselves receive nothing. The Poles, you pay wages. Generally, they get a little more. Are you listening?
What was that about the SS? The rate? The what?
The Jewish worker's salary. You pay it directly to the SS, not to the worker. He gets nothing.
But it's less. It's less than what they would pay a Pole.
It's less.
That's the point I'm trying to make. Poles cost more. Why should I hire Poles?
Excuse me, sir, but I...
Welcome, Mr. Kane. Welcome. Welcome to the Inquirer, Mr. Kane. I'm Herbert Carter, the editor-in-chief.
Thank you, Mr. Carter, but this is Mr. Leland, the...
How do you do, Mr. Leland?
New dramatic critic. I hope I haven't made a mistake, Jedediah. It is a dramatic critic you want to be, isn't it?
You know that's right.
Are they standing for me?
You? Oh,
Yes,
Mr. Kane. Standing?
How do you
yes.
do?
How do you do? I thought it would be a nice little gesture.
Ask them to sit down, will you,
new
please?
publisher.
It's such an effective piece of filmmaking that it truly does shock one to see such brutality emerge.
Spielberg over-aestheticizes the horrors of Nazi extermination, unable to help but block and light things in the most haunting, beautiful, unforgettable fashion possible.
The little moments of triumph where the camera is in direct conversation with his unbelievable cast are consumed by the violence.
You've done well here.
You look wonderful.
Be careful of the step, miss.
Mrs. Schindler married.
It becomes difficult to believe that anything that was so funny is now impossibly heavy.
It's the shower scene, the wanton death, the playing of a historical fact for suspense that makes it difficult to praise the film without caveats.
It has been said many times that people consider this film a failure, not because it's poorly made, but because it's just wrong to make a film about the Holocaust that has a happy ending. The Massacre of Millions was a moment in the history of the world that will cast a shadow on the face of humanity. How does it warrant a story of hope, of the one good German who did something about it?
It would be equally pointless and distasteful to speak of the camera's function and aim during scenes set at Auschwitz. Suffice to say that to make spectacle, clever spectacle, from this much death, the effect is nauseating.
Was ist das? Ist das Bach? Ist das Bach? Nein, Mozart. Mozart? Ja.
The conclusions Spielberg draws are important, that the Holocaust was enabled by cowards at every turn. that beneath the uniforms were children desperately excited to have guns and dogs at their disposal. Those who perpetrated this were not after some ideological victory. They were little people who wanted to feel big. They were bigots and bullies, and the world let them do what they wanted for years.
It's a lesson worth repeating, especially now. But the movie has more on its agenda, to sidle up to them as they perform their atrocities.
Oh, Christ.
Man, try that, sir?
Check the angle lever. Maybe it's bent.
No. You wouldn't hear a click. It was the angle of it's the pin.
Maybe it's the pin. Maybe the pin shaft is greasy.
What did I just say? Yeah.
Herr Commandant,
Let me see.
I beg to report that my heap of hinges was so unsatisfactory because the machines were being recalibrated this morning. I was put on to shoveling coal.
Strange, huh?
Spielberg made a movie at once unimaginably beautiful, a testament to his talent and to the things in the human spirit he finds most commendable, and yet so ugly. Striving to present the realness of the worst violence, it is almost impossible to watch.
Nothing is ever, should ever be, off limits for artists.
It's the audience who decides for them.
What we learned about ourselves this time around is that there are some things we don't want to see anymore, no matter how beautiful, no matter how important.
One day, he will shoot me.
No. He won't shoot you.
I know. I see things. We were on the roof on Monday, young Lisiak and I, and we saw the Herr Commandant come out of the front door and down these steps by the patio right there below us, and there on the steps he drew his gun and he shot a woman who was passing by. A woman carrying a bundle through the throat, just a woman on her way somewhere. You know, she was no fatter or thinner or slower or faster than anyone else, and I couldn't guess what had she done. The more you see of the Herr Commandant, the more you see there is no set rules that you can live by. You can say to yourself, if I follow these rules, I will be safe.
He won't shoot you because he enjoys you too much. He enjoys you so much he won't even let you wear the star. He doesn't want anyone else to know it's a Jew he's enjoying.